So the potential king of all premium income ETFs, ticker symbol JEPQ or the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, is once again trading very close to all-time highs. But because this ETF's performance over time is along with the amount of income that can be earned consistently right off the bat when it comes to JEPQ, a lot of investors, including myself, have questioned as of recently if it's worth buying more JEPQ, adding to our stockpile that a lot of us already have, or if it's maybe worth trimming some of this ETF off at these levels. Now in this video, we're going to go through JEPQ, talk about where it's trading as of right now, go over the previous performance over the last year or so, and attempt to answer the question if or if not this ETF is still worth buying at these levels. So if you're either holding onto JEPQ or have ever thought about it, well then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into this one. If you are a dividend investor who wants to level up your portfolio, you need to be tracking your dividend income consistently. And that's why I created the perfect dividend tracker that I've used to scale my dividend income up to all-time highs over the last year. Now along with this dividend tracker, you're also going to receive my A to Z dividend investing ebook, which shows you how I personally started from $0 several years ago to now where I earn over $7,500 per month in dividends. So if you want this tracker and the ebook, go to the first link down below in my description and grab it today. So just to back things up for a second, JEPQ or the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF is known as one of the kings of all premium income ETFs, and this is across quite a few of them in the markets. Now this is based off the fact that JEPQ has been trading for quite some time, at least compared to a lot of the newer income style covered call style ETFs, because there's so many new ones out there. But mostly because this ETF over time has offered a massive amount of performance and has offered investors a ton of income potential right from day one. Now, how this ETF works is pretty simple if you understand basic option strategies. It says the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF seeks to deliver monthly distributable income and Nasdaq 100 exposure, but with less volatility. The expertise says lead portfolio manager Hamilton R has over 3 decades of experience investing in equities and equity derivatives. Now, once again, the portfolio is pretty simple, especially compared to a lot of these newer income strategies. It basically says underlying equity portfolio employs an applied data science approach to fundamental research and portfolio construction, but then with this, a disciplined option overlay implements written out of the money Nasdaq 100 index call options that seeks to generate distributable monthly income. Now, a lot of people ask me for good reason, how in the world am I going to choose which sort of option style, derivative style, income style ETF to invest into? There are so many to choose from. And this is a good point because some of these ETFs like JEPQ, for example, implements a written out of the money Nasdaq 100 index call option, which is going to give you a different amount of upside potential or even protection against downside compared to a different ETF that might sell calls at the money or even in the money. And this is why I always say to investors that ask me that, you need to go through all the ETFs you're interested into or watch my videos and learn exactly more or less how they work and see which ETF matches what you're looking for. Now, before we go through the actual price performance of this ETF, and yes, I'm talking about price return, even though this is an income-focused ETF, this ETF has offered some nice growth historically. Looking at the last 12 payouts that JEPQ, for example, has offered monthly, we're talking 45 cents, 50 cents, 49 cents, 55, then some lower ones previous to that. Now, the amount of money that JEPQ, along with a lot of the other income style, derivative style ETFs are going to pay, is going to have to do with things like the price of option premium or volatility in the markets. But overall, JEPQ has offered a nice yield. I mean, the 30-day yield as of right now with the last payout is around 11 or 12%. Now, this all paints a very rosy picture for JEPQ. I mean, historically, the price of the ETFs went up, which I'm going to share with you here in a second. The performance has been very solid, and the payouts haven't been the biggest that we've seen across the market. I mean, there's some crazy names out there these days that pay 20, 30, 40%, but they've been very consistent in offering investors around 10% more or less over most timeframes in income per year. But like I said, as of right now, JEPQ once again is trading very close to all-time highs in the 57 range as of filming this video. It's up around 16% in the max time frame. Now, this is since around May of 2022. So even though this ETF does seem like it's been trading for a while, it still has been a relatively short time frame, but it does feel like it's been trading for a while because in the last year or so, it feels like there's 50 new similar ETFs launching per month. Now, the reason it's really hard to outperform JEPQ compared to the other income style ETFs is exactly because this ETF, like I share with you guys, offers around 10% more or less yield, but also has grown significantly over time. I mean, over the last year or so, it's up around 16%. So not only have investors like myself that have been holding on to JEPQ for a while now, we're up significantly on our original cost per share, but also we're getting paid 30, 40, 50 cents, depending on the month, per share per month. Now, before we go through some basic dividend math, I'm going to share with you guys how much you can earn depending on what you invest in a JEPQ. Looking at this ETF's performance over the last 2.67 years. Yes, it's been trading still under 3 years, but a $10,000 investment with dividends being reinvested has offered investors almost 48% total return and around 15-16% on average per year. Now, even if you weren't reinvesting those dividends, we're still talking 38% or 12-13%, which basically more or less keeps up with the general market over a long time frame. Now, sure, maybe investors could earn a little bit more if they just bought onto the SPY, but with JEPQ, you're getting cash flow from day one, which you can then reinvest into more shares of JEPQ, or of course, like myself, you could just use the money to do whatever you want with. How long would it take, again, theoretically speaking, for a $50,000 initial investment into JEPQ to turn into $1 million plus? Let's get right into it. Now, the numbers are in, and just as the first year, $50,000 invested, we're already almost up to $6,000 per year in dividends, which is why this ETF is kind of magical. There's so much income potential considering just a $50,000 investment. It's sort of mind-blowing. Now, 5 years down the road, this portfolio has already almost compounded to $100,000 with over $8,600 per year in dividends. Again, remember, this is with a $50,000 investment, $1,200 per year or $100 per month, and of course, reinvesting those dividends year after year. Now, 10 years down the road, we're talking $191,000 and over $1,000 now per month in dividends, which is a huge milestone. Now, 15 years down the road, we're talking $340,000 with $15,000 per year in dividends. 18 years down the road, $463,000 with $16,000 plus per year in dividends. Now, with this model, it would take an investor around 26 years with a $50,000 investment, $1,200 annually, and reinvest in the dividends based off of the numbers that we use, which of course can change ongoingly. We're talking 26 years to turn $50,000 into $1 million invested. Now, this sort of brings me back to the title of the video. Is it time to buy more JEPQ, double up on our shares, or is it time to trim our position as of right now? Now, I personally have been holding on to around 400 or 500 shares of JEPQ for a long time now. I feel like I bought this one along with jepi back when they first started trading. And although for a while I was not adding onto my pile of JEPQ shares, over the last year, in 2024 at least, I did add some more shares to my portfolio. And as of right now, even where it's trading as of currently, I still personally do want more NASDAQ exposure, especially with the way that JEPQ does it. So as of right now, with my around 476 shares of JEPQ, depending on what it pays on a monthly basis, I'm earning around $200 more or less per month in income, and on top of that, I'm up significantly on my shares. Now, with JEPQ basically trading very close to all-time highs, I think there could be an opportunity for a pullback, and whenever JEPQ does drop 2%, 3%, 4% from wherever it's trading at, I always add a few more shares to my pile. But either way, I personally do think that JEPQ offers one of the best strategies with NASDAQ equity exposure, along with the cover call overlay that's offered massive income consistently to investors over the past several years. So now that it's 2025, I personally do think I'm going to be adding more JEPQ shares to my personal portfolio, even where it's trading as of currently. Now, on red days, I'll probably add a lot more than green days, but every now and then I'll still nibble on a few shares of JEPQ just because I'm so bullish on this one long term. I think it's going to keep growing over time, and I also think it's going to continue to pay massive dividends over the years. So now that we talked about and went over, JEPQ may be the king of all premium income ETFs. I know you guys love this one a lot. And we talked about whether or not I personally think it's a good time as of right now to either buy some more shares, sell some more shares, or maybe hold them. I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from down below. When it comes to ticker symbol JEPQ, how many shares across all your portfolios do you have as of right now? I currently have just under 500. Comment down below how many you have. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more feature content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.